applause to Samal Aubakirova with her speech, Poetry Reading, Samal Aubakirova.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, I'm going to speak about poetry, how it's affected me personally, and why I believe it's important for all of us. My first acquaintance with poetry began when I was at school. My literature teacher used poetry as a punishment. Whenever we didn't do our home task or committed something bad, she forced us to learn poem and recite it in front of the class when the lesson starts. So my class was, you call back then difficult class, so we learned lots of poems and recited it. But that is how I discovered the joy of reciting poetry. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members and guests, have you ever heard about Poetry Slam?
No.
Okay. So Poetry Slam, basically it's a competition in which poets of all ages can perform spoken word poetry. Another word is a poetry reading. Poetry Slam began in Chicago in 1984. First is designed to move poetry recitals from academia to a popular audience. When American poet Mark Smith began experimenting with existing open microphone venues for poetry reading, making them more competitive. There are tremendous benefits of poetry reading, but the one which I'd like to draw your attention is the therapeutic power of poetry. Reading and writing poetry both engage our senses along with our emotions, making the art connect with our mind. Poetry's healing quality have been documented during the both world wars. Poems were read to soldiers to help them cope with the trauma and brutalities of war. In fact, doctors wrote poems to their patients, emotionally connecting with them. And a striking example of that is, John Kidd, who is also an English poet, and he also trained as a doctor, and he wrote a poem for his patients too. The use of poetry nowadays, it also continues. Modern doctors and therapists, they also use poetry as a part of the therapy. At Yale University School of Medicine and University College London School of Medicine also use that. Yale actually has a committee which maintains literacy reading list, which includes poetry reading. Poetry allows both the doctor and the patient to understand emotions that the patient might be going through, which adds another facet for their overall care. The use of poetry continues to grow as a recognized form of therapy. More and more psychotherapists across the globe use poetry therapy as a part of their practice. We need poetry. It promotes literacy, builds community, fosters emotional resilience. It can cross boundaries that little else can. To wrap up my speech, I'd like to recite one of my all-time favorite poems, If, by Rudyard Kipling. Let's start again. I'm going to recite that poem. If, by Rudyard Kipling. It's actually one of my favorite ones. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you but make allowance for the doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good or talk too lies. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stood and build them up with barnacles. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it at one heap of opposing toes. Okay, I forgot. And okay. If you can lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force yourself, your heart, your nerve and sinew to make a to serve your turn long after they're gone. And hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with a king, nor lose your common touch. If neither foes or loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can feel unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything in it, which is more.